regrets. I'm blessed to say the old me dead and gone away.
Hello, welcome. I am Laon, a certified life coach and addiction recovery coach that teaches manifestation so then you can manifest the life of your dreams. We're going to dive into this live today. It's about 3D detachment and how to navigate the ins and outs of your 3D reality. If you want any help with one-on-one coaching services, please check out soulutionscoaching.org. Hello. Tonight we're going to do a Q&A back and forth, answering any of your questions, but specifically I'm going to dive into 3D detachment and how to navigate your 3D when you're feeling like you got too many obstacles in your face. So stay tuned for that because we're going to dive into that during this live. If you don't know, I do repost all of these lives on my YouTube channel. I'm going to be doing a schedule every Tuesday and every Saturday. You can plan on these lives being uploaded. So if you don't follow me on there, everything is linked in my bio. So I think we're just going to dive into the topic. Thank you for all the likes. Stephanie, I see you. Thank you. I truly appreciate that. You guys are absolutely amazing. How do I detach from what I want? We're going to dive into that. That just happens to be the topic tonight on this live. So we're going to dive into that. So we are usually trained growing up to pay attention to our 3D and take everything personally. Well, so-and-so said this to me, and that means that, fuck them, and I'm a piece of shit, and I can't believe I allowed that in my reality, and allowed somebody to treat me like that, or, fuck them for not giving me the job. I didn't want it anyways. And, we're taking everything personally and watching our 3D to know if we're worth it, if we're good enough, and placing our value on what we're experiencing in the 3D. We're not supposed to be doing that. We were raised completely wrong. If everyone is us pushed out, then doesn't it make sense, now that we have this understanding, doesn't it make sense that the power that we gave to that 3D is irrelevant now? If we truly understand what everyone and everything is you pushed out means, which it's a projection, a hologram of our internal world, and as soon as we change, it changes, would we take it personally? It's like going on TV and being attached to what happens to those characters in the TV show. Does it really matter? No, right? And that's what reality is. That's what the 3D world is. It's a show projecting in front of us. And at any time, we can change the channel if we don't like what we're watching. And the remote is us, right? We're the remote, the clicker. This is how we change the channel. We tell a new story. We decide to be a different version of us. So the way to go about detaching from our 3D is recognizing, wait, you're only here and I'm only experiencing this because I'm allowing it. Because I am this version of me that is in this reality experiencing this. But I can instantly, right now, make a decision, not that version of me anymore, and instantly you shift into a different reality. Now, physically, your 3D might not change instantly. The 3D world is a little bit more dense energetically compared to just our thoughts. So just like you could think of a pink elephant and that elephant comes to mind, but it's not in your living room. Again, that's what I mean by density. So the idea of this is if we know that we can change internally and it's an instant, as soon as we decide this is who we are now and it instantly shifts us into that reality, our only job is to return to that decision that we have made, right? Where a lot of people get tripped up though is I'm doing these affirmations, I'm doing these techniques, but I'm not seeing a change in my 3D world, so it must not be working. No, it's actually working. As soon as you decide and you start to tell a new story, you start to affirm one or visualize, you are instantly in that reality. The fact that you're even able to think this new way means that you are a new version of yourself. Doesn't that make sense? Right? How can you have new thoughts and have these visualizations of things if a version of you hasn't already experienced that, right? Infinite possibilities. So right now you've been thinking shit thoughts about yourself, about your reality, watching the 3D, saying that there's no movement, saying that this is never going to happen, and looking for it and wanting it and needing it. And all of that is doing is creating more of it. All right, well, we understand that. We get that, Lane. So moving forward, what can we do to invest our thoughts and not spend them? Well, start telling a story. We always see movement. Regardless of what the 3D is showing, we always see movement. It is guaranteed to happen because I'm continuously becoming this version of me day after day, moment after moment, right? And as we continue to tell this story and identify as this new version of us, what you'll notice is your attachment to the 3D begins to fade, and you become more and more detached from it because you realize it doesn't matter. You're just feeling good living your life. You're feeling good within you. It almost hits a point, and a lot of people talk about this, to where it's like you feel like you don't even care if you get your manifestation. And I don't like to say the words, I don't care if I get it or I don't get it. It's just detachment. You're detached from it because you've been giving it to yourself within. And if everything is a projection of you pushed out and you've been giving it to yourself within, then doesn't that feel so satisfactory to know it has to be pushed out, that it's guaranteed now, that you've done the work? And when you're doing it this way, it doesn't even feel like work. It's fun. So that's how you're able to detach from the 3D. Tell the story of what you do want and focus on that. So anytime that you find yourself wondering, oh, I wonder why there's no movement and I've been doing this for so long. Nope. Rein those thoughts in. That's old story. I don't want to live that anymore. I want my manifestation, and the way that I get it is focusing on me. So how right now can I focus on me? Well, one way that I do that is, for one, living my life, going out and doing things, having fun, trying new things, having experiences, talking to friends, so on and so forth. The other way that I do that, if I don't have that opportunity or I'm kind of on the go, is focus on other manifestations, right? Because that's what I would be doing if I had my full manifestation in this particular area. Be on to the next thing, right? Because I already checked this one off the list. Another way that you can go about this is telling the story of what you do want, asking yourself, well, if I had my manifestation, who would I be? What would be my behaviors? How would I be thinking? How would I be feeling? How would I be walking around this world? And then contemplating these things, this identity, and then making a decision, oh yeah, that's who I am. I forgot for a second who I was, but now I reminded myself of who I am. And then going on with your day. It's that simple. Does that make sense, guys? That's how easy detachment is. It's the repetition of returning to your state of consciousness, returning to the new identity of the version of you who has it, and living your life. And when you're doing that over and over and over again, the practice of doing that and familiarizing yourself with this new identity, you start to feel like you have it from within, so you no longer care or are looking for it from without. And you detach from the 3D automatically. It's not, hard work. It's not, I need to detach, I need to not look, don't let me look, I don't want to look, oh man, I looked. It's not like that at all. It's just making a decision. I know that you're going to change out there as soon as I change in here. So it's my job to change in here. And how can I do that? Ask myself, who am I now? And making that decision to be that version of myself when my desire comes to mind. That's it. How can I trust that I can manifest? Okay. This is a good one, guys. You ready for this one? Even if nothing is happening in your 3D, you trust by practicing. Play around with it. Okay? I know that we have this one desire, and it seems so hard to get this one desire because all of our focus is on how can I manifest this one desire? And you stop living your life. You realize we are manifesting every single thing in our reality. Unconsciously. Okay, so if we have that kind of power where everything, it's not just a specific thing or a desire that we're manifesting. This isn't a technique. This is literally your life. It's you projected out in every single area of your life. So it's playing around with it. It's playing around with specific people, maybe family members, maybe friends, playing around with it with people that at work or just strangers on the street. It's playing around with money and like manifesting money out of thin air. Manifesting things to be fixed out of thin air, or finding things if you had lost something. Literally playing with it in every single area of your life. There are no coincidences. So that friend that you thought of, or maybe last month, and they rang you up like 2 days later, that wasn't coincidence. You thought of them, you had a passing thought of, oh, I wonder how so-and-so's doing. And then they called you. Hey, what are you doing? I was just thinking about you. That's not coincidence. That's manifestation. That's literally how simple it is, right? Or say you just had a thought of, man, I really would like a cup of coffee. Then all of a sudden your friend comes over. Hey, dude, I brought you a cup of coffee. Here you go. Again, no coincidences. That's manifestation. So play around with it. Figure out which tools work best for you. Figure out if it's inner conversations, if it's visualizations. Start to play with it. This is supposed to be fun. It's in every area of our life, not just the big desires. And as we begin to build our faith in this, we begin to trust more, right? And another thing that I would like to point out, which Bashar says this all the time. If you've never seen his content, go watch Bashar. He's on a whole bunch of lectures and stuff. There's stuff on YouTube and stuff on Gaia, if you want to check that out. But he talks about you have trust in the fact of what you just said. You have confidence in what you just said of having no confidence. You trusted the fact that you just said you can't trust, or you're having trouble trusting. So clearly you trust. You just trust in something else, right? So I really need you to take a step back, realize, wait, I have trust within me. If I can trust that shit story of should I, or how do I trust, manifestation? How do I trust that this is working for me? I can actually make that decision in this moment I do trust in manifestation and know it's always working for me and I always see evidence of it. It's just as easy. That fork in the road of saying I trust this shit thing over I trust this positive thing, it's a decision. It all starts in the middle. It's neutral until you decide which path you're going to go down, right? So just decide what you trust. Make a decision, stick to that decision, and then play around with it. Practice it. Does that make sense? And I also want to say in the Bible, it says, believe you have received it and you shall. That's saying, okay, wait, I prayed, okay, I prayed for something, it didn't happen yet, but my job is to believe it. My job is to know that it is guaranteed for me, to just trust and have quote unquote blind faith, even though it's not blind faith, to have this trust that it's guaranteed, right? And my job is to believe in it, and then it will be seen. Give thanks for things not seen. It's all over our biblical scripture, right? We were taught backwards, right? And now we're resetting everything. So it does take practice and the repetition of telling ourselves, wait, I can trust this. I see success stories all over the place. I'm reading books where people are describing their stories of success. Or teaching this. There's so many people teaching this now. It must be relevant, right? How do all these other people have stories, but I'm different? No, you have the same anatomy as any other human and your consciousness. So how are you any different? Right? Lane, I've been sick for over a month and a half. Did I mess anything up because I didn't affirm? What do you think my answer is going to be? You can never mess up any of your manifestations. Affirmations are just new thoughts, right? So, okay, you took a month off. You were sick. You just let your body heal and relax. But in that time, did you just allow your mind to wander whichever way and dwell in the shit and have the excuse of, oh, I'm sick. I don't have the energy right now to even think differently, which is fine if that happens. But now you're not sick, right? So now you can make the decision, hey, the past month and a half of me resting and letting my body recuperate didn't mean anything, and I'm still going to get my manifestation. Boom! Instantly in a different reality where that's true, right? It's really that simple, guys. Just decide. Just decide what reality you're in and how things are playing out for you. If you want it to affect you, you can. But I take the simple route and just know, hey, wait, I don't like that story. I'm going to tell a story of what I do want. And I know I'm instantly shifting into that reality, right? So affirmations are just new thoughts. Decide what your new thoughts are, right? And do your best. Even when you're sick, shit, I even take days off, from my self-talk. If my body's telling me, hey, you need to rest, you need to slow down, Lane, you need to take a nap, I do it. I listen to my body because that's the most important thing, right? So if I need to take that rest, I rest. Doesn't matter if it's for a day or for the month. Again, I'll do what my body needs me to do. And I don't let it affect my manifestation game at all, right? Because everything is my manifestation. So I can make that decision, and usually when I'm not feeling good, I still decide this ain't going to affect me. I'm just going to chill. Actually, it's going to help me out even more because I'm just living my life. I'm prioritizing me and my needs. And what do you think manifestation is? Manifestation is everyone is you pushed out. So if you are prioritizing yourself, you are focusing on you and your health and your best version, what do you think's going to happen? It's going to get projected out. Make sense? Do I have to be religious for manifestation to work? No, it's working automatically. Doesn't matter what religion you are, doesn't matter what race you are, what gender you identify as. It literally, we are born with this gift, and we are unconscious of this gift. We can become conscious of it, which is what I'm teaching, so then you can get your power back, right? It's just the reason why I talk about some biblical scriptures is because it's written all over the Bible. The Bible is actually a manuscript of how to, or that might not be the right word. It's late, guys. The Bible is actually a whole manual of how to manifest. There you go. That's what I was trying to say. So it literally tells you step by step how to manifest. Obviously not in current language, but it gives you a whole bunch of stories, not based on fact, but stories to help you realize how to use these powers from within, how to shift states of consciousness. My Father's house has many mansions. What do you think that means? That God has many mansions? No, there's infinite realities that we can enter into. So it's like kind of like reading in between the lines of what the scripture is saying and just knowing, wait, this is regarding manifestation some way, somehow. There's many different teachers that break down, Neville Goddard being one, that really breaks down a lot of the biblical stories, so then you can understand what the meaning is behind them. But yeah, it's all over the Bible. It's in every single religious, like the Quran and stuff. It's everywhere. It's been a part of our lives since, humans were on Earth. Okay, so yeah, it's a very powerful thing, and it's just making a decision of who you are, and it's always working. So up until this point, if you were unconscious and you look around, pay attention to the patterns of your life, and you'll realize, oh shit, it was me this entire time. All of these thoughts that I was having about being insecure, not being good enough, not getting the job, all of that happened to me. I got cheated on, I got lied to, I didn't get the job. All of it happened perfectly. So go back, if this is your first time, learning about manifestation, look over your entire life, and then go back and remember, wait, I was thinking thoughts like that. I was feeling insecure. I was questioning, is this person going to be loyal to me? Or questioning, am I good enough? I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, or they're probably going to fire me, and then you got fired. Look over your entire life and you'll realize, wow, it was me. And then from there on out, making a decision of what you do want, and then it will change in your reality. Because if everything is you pushed out, everyone is you pushed out, you can perceive whatever reality you want, because the possibilities are infinite. The realities are infinite. Do you listen to Dylan James? I used to many, many years ago. Like when he first came out, I listened to a couple of his affirmation tapes. Nothing wrong with them. I mean, they were good, whatnot. I'm not going to lie, I find his voice a little annoying. I think it's because I listened to his tape and it's just, I don't know. But he's a really good coach. I can't say anything bad about him. He does know his shit, and his affirmation tapes do work. I will say that. But I've outgrown all of those kind of teachers. I stick straight with, like Neville Goddard and Dr. Joseph Murphy, Dr. Joe Dispenza, anything on Gaia pretty much, like Bashar. One of my favorite books is Seth Speaks by Jane Roberts. I pretty much go straight to the people that knew about this shit back in like the 1920s to the 1950s, instead of like this new age stuff and watching on TikTok. The only person that I watch on TikTok, because she's my friend, is Love Coach Kayla. It's the only one, and we connect on a level of, we have the same experience. We are so connected. It's hilarious to see. But the way that we teach is very similar, and having the understanding that we both have. That's the only person that I watch, and like I said, it's because she's a really close friend of mine. Bashar never confirmed that we can manifest an SP. He never did not. He pretty much says like all power is within you. Like, nothing is separate from you. He's very big on that. So he didn't say you can or you can't, but you can. I've done it. I've done it with my friends. I've done it with romantic partners. Like, I've done it. Okay, so I know for a fact that it can be done, and it's not taking away or manipulating or taking away free will. They're you pushed out anyways, and Bashar talks about that, on how you are reality. Reality is you. Okay, obviously we experience people in our reality, so you think that they're separate from you, but you're connected to the trees, the birds, the sky, the grass, the air, your coffee table, your water. You're connected to all these things, but no, not a person. When you can sit there and literally think a thought of somebody, like I said earlier in live, I know that we have all experienced moments to where we think of somebody, oh, I wonder how so-and-so is doing. I haven't heard from them in a long time. And then maybe an hour later, a few days later, so-and-so calls you and says, hey, I was just thinking about you. How you doing? It's not a coincidence, right? We're all connected, right? You just manifested that. That was manifesting a specific person unconsciously. Now imagine if we can focus that consciousness to what we do want and identify as that version of us, how powerful that is. If you could do it with just a passing thought, what do you think you could do when you actually focus that concentration on what you do want? You get what I'm saying? Trying nervous system regulation when I get triggered. Ooh, awesome. I love that. Yep, with your reality. Okay, cool. So you've been playing around with nervous system regulation practices when you feel triggered in your reality. Cool, that is awesome. The reason why we do that is so then you have mind and heart, or mind and body coherency. When our nervous system is triggered or out of balance, then that means that we are out of balance. That means that we're going to react emotionally to things instead of coming from a stable, clear mind and realizing, wait, you're just a projection of me, right? You'll notice once you're more stable in your nervous system and it's regulated and you're able to maintain that regulation, right? Because it's through the consistent practice of doing whatever regulation practices you're doing. Usually it's breath work or EFT tapping. But when you're consistently doing that and you're consistently balanced, you'll notice those intrusive thoughts go way down, for one, and for two, they've lost all momentum, all power over you, right? Because now you're no longer fearing your thoughts or fearing the triggers that could potentially happen, right? You're able to have more of a focused mind with a nervous system regulation. And the reason why that is when our body is in fight or flight response, which that means it's unbalanced nervous system, we're in fight or flight response, and our stress hormones, our cortisol levels are up. This puts our body into survival mode, and it actually triggers anxiety. And the reason why it triggers the feeling of anxiety is because our body is taking all of the circulation out of our other limbs and putting it into our heart because it thinks that we need to run from something that's scary. That's what stress is. We're running from something. Our bodies aren't supposed to experience stress long periods of time. So like back in the day, like Stone Age, when we were killing our own food and having to run from animals and sleeping under the stars, we had to be on high alert, right? So in instances when we were having that adrenaline rush and our stress levels were higher, we were in that fight or flight trying to hide from scary creatures that could eat us, it would trigger that cortisol level to go up. And as soon as we are safe, those levels would go back down and we'd be balanced again. What happens in our society nowadays is we're constantly stressed. We're stressed about bills, we're stressed about heartbreak, we're stressed about our specific person, we're stressed about our diet, our weight, and the way that we're living is constant stress. So our bodies are constantly in fight or flight. If we're constantly in fight or flight, our thoughts are going to be all over the place. Just like when you're running from something, you have to think, oh man, I got to jump over here. What's the fastest way? Maybe I should climb up that tree. I got to get away from this monster. You're thinking erratically because you're trying to protect yourself, right? And again, the anxiety feelings, all of the blood rushes to your heart and your vital organs trying to make sure that you are safe, okay? So then you have the energy to book it out of there and protect yourself. So when we do nervous system regulation work, what happens is all the blood starts flowing normal, the cortisol levels go down, and you start to relax more. So then that means the intrusive thoughts go down. That means our emotional, like the adrenaline usually that we're feeling when we're heightened up and emotional and you feel that intensity, starts to go down. You feel a lot more balanced now. Well, the reason why is because you have mind and heart, mind and body coherency. You're balanced again. You're back into like that neutrality, that neutral state, your resting state. So when we're able to consistently do that, we're able to perceive our reality less as a threat and more just from flow, more just from laid back, like, okay, I can handle this. This is nothing. I'm in control of my thoughts. I'm in control of my body and my emotions, right? So that's why I always push nervous system regulation. I'm happy that you started doing it. If it's the EFT tapping, sorry, my cat's being neurotic, nothing new. But if it's EFT tapping, which that's tapping on pressure points on your body, not a big fan of it. Didn't really work for me, but I hear, from my clients that it really works for them. You got breath work, which there's a whole bunch of different ones on YouTube if you want guided ones. Personally, I just do my own now of like 8 minutes, inhale, hold it for 8 minutes. Sorry, reset. 8 seconds, inhale, hold it for 8 seconds, release for 8 seconds, very slow exhale, and then hold it again for 8 seconds. Okay? That's all I do, and I do it all throughout the day, random times. Like if there's a line at the store and I'm impatient and I'm trying to get stuff done and I'm on go mode, and I find myself starting to get stressed out about it because I'm on the clock and trying to get stuff done, I will do breath work and instantly relax and realize, hey, this isn't that big of a deal. I'm gonna check out just as quickly as I, came in the store and whatnot. And then my perception starts changing where the line starts moving faster and I'm no longer getting frustrated because it's taking so long. So I use it all throughout the day, random times throughout the day, and just make sure I'm balanced and not reacting to my 3D. That was a really long explanation, but I hope that you guys enjoyed that. They can decide to accept it or not. No, false. You are the only one with control in your reality, so you can decide what people are thinking. I know it sounds like you're manipulating them, bullshit. There is a reality of them that exists. Again, the possibilities are infinite. So if you decide this person is thinking they are in love with me, they want me, they're choosing me, whatever, you've decided that they're all about you and in love with you. That reality already exists. So there is a version of them that your thoughts are being transmitted to that version of them. Not this current version that's showing whatever. This is one reality. We're sending those thoughts to a different version of them that has always thought this way. And it's very natural, right? Because it's thoughts that they've always had. So you decide what people think and feel about you because you're doing it anyways. So you can either have the story of I'm never chosen, people disrespect me, I'm always used, I'm always cheated on, and then that version of them has to come out to where they're manipulating you, they're cheating on you, they're gaslighting you, they don't want to be with you, and then they want to be with you, and playing games. That's because you've decided that that's the version that they're going to show up as based on your thoughts and the way that you're perceiving them. You can just as easily decide, nope, I experience the best version of him to where I'm loved, I'm chosen, I'm treated with respect, I'm admired, I'm adored, they're coming in hot, heavy for me, they're so in love with me. And then you will quantum jump, because you've shifted within, you will quantum jump to a reality where they've always thought that about you. So they can't reject it. You can decide that they reject it if you want to give that power away, but no, they cannot. Because that reality already exists. I don't know what that means. I don't love this voice and it doesn't work for me. You gotta stop telling that story. You literally just, if you sit there and say it doesn't work, I've tried it, I've affirmed for 2 minutes, I've affirmed for a week and I didn't get it. Are you actually changing? Or are you just affirming robotically? I'm just giving an example. It doesn't matter what the technique is. But are you just doing it from, I'm going to try this to prove it to myself to see if this works? Or are you actually making that change where, okay, I'm going to be the version of me that has it. I already know it works. And deciding that it works. And no matter what you're seeing in your 3D, knowing that it works. You see the two different realities, you can make a choice. Everything's a choice. So decide that it works. And it's going to work. No matter how long it takes. Don't limit yourself. What does it mean when you're manifesting SP and then you randomly see them? That your manifestation's working. That it's unfolding right in front of you. That's what that means. Literally unfolding right in front of you. That's awesome. I'm guessing that... Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. About Dylan James' voice. That you don't like his voice. That's a... I forgot that we were talking about that earlier. The chat just jumped, so it's a little delayed, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, about his voice, I don't care for it, but it doesn't say anything about his teachings or anything about him and like his affirmations. If you enjoy Dylan James and you want to sleep to his tapes, you're more than welcome to. What I found is subliminals work better for me because I don't like the sounds of voices. That's what I've learned. So I make my own subliminals. I do custom subliminals as well on my coaching page. If you want to get one, you don't have to, but I'm just saying, if you have trouble listening and falling asleep to people's voices, subliminals, just make sure they're coming from a trusted source, because you can't hear the affirmations, but it sinks into your subconscious mind. So just keep that in mind if you're using ones on YouTube. Yep, I prefer the breath work, but I mean, EFT tapping, breath work, cold showers or baths, ice baths, just putting your face in cold water is very helpful to regulate that nervous system, because it's shocking your system. It's retraining the pattern, right? From fight or flight to like stable, soothing. So whichever works best for you. I've heard some clients say, I don't remember where she got it from, but one client said something on the ear you can also rub, that is supposed to help stimulate the nervous system response, and stomping, something with your feet in the ground and that energetic pattern. So if you want to play around with them or do research on that as well, I don't know as much about it. Like I said, I had a client that did it and it helped her extremely. I'm choking over my words here. I'm thinking faster than my mouth is moving. Any tips of letting go of resistance of the past? Okay. Well, this one's going to sound really simple, but just decide. Just decide to let it go. Is it serving you? You can ask yourself, is it serving me to hold on to the past? Is it? Does it make you feel good? No. If we understand that it's just one possibility, one quantum possibility out of infinite, you can decide, I don't need to hold on to this anymore, because I can decide who I am now and not allow my past to define my future, define my present moment. And that's one way that I overcame, my past. Another way is revision. I'm huge on revision. So you can, if there's a certain memory that stands out to you where you're like, wow, like this definitely was a defining moment in my life, and you consistently reminisce on it in a bad way, you can go back and revise it and decide, wait, that didn't happen, it actually happened this way. And revision is just another fancy word to say I quantum jumped into a reality where a different part of me experienced something else, or a different version of me experienced a different part of my past, right? But you'll notice that once you start shifting states and consciously making a decision to be a new version of you, that those old stories that we hung on to in that past actually begins to fade. Like, I could look back at my childhood and it's almost like watching a movie. Like, when I think back on my childhood, it's so unfamiliar to me because I've changed so much, because I've continued to quantum jump to better and better and better realities, right? So in those realities, because I'm changing who I am, it's not just changing who I am in the present moment, in the future manifestations that I'm experiencing, but it's also changing my past. If I'm deciding to be the version of me right now that's chosen, then I quantum jump into a reality where I've always been chosen and always will be chosen. So those stories, those memories that I have of my past, I'm detached from. I don't even feel like they're real anymore. And that's all that revision does. Or if you don't want to use the word revision, again, it's decide what you do want. And because you decide who you want to be in this moment, the only thing that exists is this moment. The past is in this moment, because as soon as you think of a memory, you brought it to this moment. It doesn't exist until you think of it and put it in the present moment. Same with your future event. You just brought it to the present. So when you look at things like that, it's kind of like, what's the point? But if you're really struggling, then play around with revision or hypnotherapy. And that's another powerful tool that could really help you get over your past if you find yourself being resistant. But it's only you. All resistance is you butting heads with yourself. Right? It's the old story saying, please don't let me die. Please don't let me go. It's all we've ever known. And I'm scared of the unknown. That rhymed. That was pretty good, right? But that's all that resistance is of your past. And if you're able to sit with yourself and be like, okay, I know that this isn't serving me and I want a different future. And the way that I get a different future or a different present moment is if I decide and detach and recognize, wait, my past doesn't matter. I know that my ego is telling me that it does, but it doesn't. And I'm going to love myself enough right now to move past it, to make a decision to be a new version of me. And it really is just that simple, and just holding space for yourself. Change is scary, especially to humans, especially to the ego mind when we've had these patterns for so long and now we're changing our mind. We've always been in the pattern of not being chosen, not getting what we want, always getting shit on. It's scary when we open our eyes and realize, wait, I can have what I want. I can be chosen. It's all going to work out for me. And it's just practice of that gentle repetition of saying, I can have it. And it's safe for me to. And I'm going to hold space for myself right now, knowing that, okay, I'm scared of change, but I know that change is good. I know it's going to make me happy, having this change within. And just the repetition of being gentle with yourself and allowing yourself to have this, to giving yourself this gift. That's it. But that's all the resistance is your ego butting heads with you, saying, please don't let me die. And you're going to lay it to rest. Sorry. That is awesome. If you want to share too, where you got the information, this is the client that I was talking about, where she got the information about nervous system regulation with the ear thing. If you want to either link something, or if you have that information in the stomping, because we were talking about that, and I know it worked really well for you. So if you'd like to share that, we can do that as well. How to prevent old thoughts from popping up. Not being scared of them. The more that we run from these intrusive thoughts or these old thoughts and tell ourselves, I don't want to think you, I don't want to think you, you're going to mess up my manifestation. When you do that, they're going to come back even harder, right? You're letting them win the war. The way that we win the war against our thoughts is recognizing, oh, you're just a thought, you're just old story. I can carry on with my day and know that the more that I detach from you and recognize that's old story, that's just an old version of me, and I haven't fully shifted yet, but I'm in the middle of shifting. Right now I'm in the middle of shifting by making a decision that these thoughts aren't going to resonate with me anymore. I'm not going to give power to them. You're instantly depowering them. You're instantly taking away any idea of them, and then you'll notice that they start coming in less and less and less. So it's stop running from them. And just allow them to be there and look at them, observe them for what they are. Thoughts, old story. And shit, I still have thoughts of old story come up. And I've done a lot of work on my self-concept. I'm in completely different realities from where I started out. They come up, and you want to know what I do? I look at them and be like, yeah, okay, and keep it moving. You know? I'm just totally detached from that version of myself that, again, it almost feels like they're not familiar anymore. When those thoughts felt familiar, I knew what state I was in. But now it's like, they don't even feel like my thoughts anymore. They feel like the version of me that was thinking them. And I'm no longer that version of me. And it's a bizarre feeling, but like once you practice it enough and enough, you'll realize like how far away those thoughts really are from you once you've actually shifted. If that makes sense. So continue to just tell the story of what you do want and not be scared of your thoughts. The stomping, okay, that was on YouTube. All right, so what she had said for this stomping nervous system regulation was something that she found on YouTube. She might be able to get us the link, I'm not sure, but just type in YouTube, nervous system regulation stomping technique. And I'm sure it will come right up or give you some information about it. Yes, awesome. And then the other one she found was on TikTok. For the ear, the massaging the ear for nervous system regulation. But yeah, that's awesome. You know, one of my clients is on here and she's talking about her experience and how things are unfolding right in front of her face, and like how crazy of an amazing experience it is. And it really is. It's so like bizarre how it unfolds, but it's so natural. It's a really good feeling once you actually make these internal shifts. The last few weeks I have been focusing on becoming the version of me that I've been wanting to be now. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. That means things are going to really change quickly for you. And, you know, if somebody wants to know how to do this, it's asking yourself, for one, who do I want to be? If infinite possibilities exist, and it all exists right now, who do I want to be? How would this version of me think? How would this version of me feel? How would this version of me act? What's the behaviors of this version of me now? How does this version of me dress? How does this version of me talk? You can literally press reset on your life. All right? Like, if I had done a whole bunch of videos, like probably, it's almost 10 years now. It's at least 6 or 7. From when I first started doing life coaching, and watching those videos of like where I was at that age. I was only in my early 20s. But where I was at that age and where I'm at now, by making these decisions, I'm a completely different version of myself. Completely different version. But watching those videos, and even the perceptions of the things that I was, like the way that I was speaking, my voice, my tone, my energy levels, you could just tell is different. My facial features are different. What else was different about it? The way that I articulate words, and like my perceptions of reality, like the things that I was saying about reality. It's just completely different than who I am now. And obviously that happens as you get older, but like just the jump that I made as a coach is just phenomenal, because I've literally pressed reset. I didn't allow that version of me as a coach define who I am now and the coach that I've become now. So it's just really crazy of how far of a jump you can make just by making decisions of who you want to be, and how different of a person you can be. It's kind of really gnarly. I'm not going to lie. It's cool. All right, so she had said with the nervous system regulation, she had searched in there for how to regulate nervous system, and it was the first video on, I'm guessing, on YouTube. So go check that out if it's something different that you want to try out. If the breath work and EFT tapping isn't working, play around with it, guys. You got to figure out what works best for you. I can just give you a little bit of guidance from my experience. For the ear nervous system regulation, look up on YouTube for vagus nerve ear method, or ear massage, sorry. Vagus nerve ear massage on YouTube, if that's the other nervous system regulation. Thank you for sharing that with us. We all truly appreciate that. Like I said, these are the practices that my client used to help regulate her nervous system. What does it mean when you don't feel like affirming anymore? But it's not giving up. Okay. Well, this is a good sign, my friend. This is a good sign. Okay? Because if you had your manifestation, would you be doing these things? No. Right? So that means you've given it to yourself from within. You're in the end. You have already felt it to where I feel like I have it, so I no longer need to affirm for it. So want to know what your next step is? Live your life. It's done. It's guaranteed. Maintain, obviously, this detachment, this feeling of having. Maintain it. Return to the state when it comes to mind. But you don't have to be so obsessive with like affirming for it anymore, because it's done. So meantime, focus on other manifestations. There's got to be other areas in your life that you want improvement of, right? Focus on yourself. You can even do that. And just live your life, have fun, do things that you enjoy, knowing that it's going to manifest at some point. Your only job is when the desire comes to mind, which if it's once throughout the day, one day, or if it's 20 times another day, when the desire comes to mind, just decide, oh no, I already have it. I'm just reminding myself, I remember, I have this. I have nothing to worry about. Manifestation's done. I am the version of me who's chosen, loved, wanted. I got nothing to worry about. And then go on with your day, right? Have whatever self-talk gets you back into that state. That's our only job. So good job. I'm happy that you're in that spot to where you don't feel the need to do it. It's because you already have it. That's like a really, really good sign. Internally, you have shifted. I already answered that, but how to react when negative thoughts come up. You don't react. You literally observe them from the best of your ability. Observe them for what they are. Old story. You can decide to still resonate in that old story, which we don't want to. Obviously, we're trying to change that story. But we can decide, I'm going to react to you. Oh my God, I thought these thoughts, and when did they manifest? And oh, now I'm spiraling because I allowed myself to think these thoughts. No, we can cut it off and say, wait, I don't have to give you power anymore because I'm deciding to be this version of me. I don't have to fear my thoughts because I know it's not my thoughts that manifest. It's my state of being, and I'm choosing to be in a different state of consciousness. And then move on with your day. Tell the story of what you do want. Focus on other areas in your life. Focus on you and your self-concept and how you want to feel. Prioritize yourself. And that's all that matters. And the more that you're doing this, those thoughts are going to become less and less and less, and or you're going to be so detached from them that it doesn't even matter to you. They're just thoughts. They're so far away from you. It's kind of like looking at the clouds in the sky. Are the clouds going to hurt you? No, but you can still see them, right? We can choose to not look at them and live our lives, and a lot of times it goes away, right? So that's all it is. But yeah, guys, I'm probably going to hop off. I've been on for a while, and I don't have water next to me, and my mouth is getting dry, I'm not going to lie. So, because you said, I don't have proof of my SP, and then put in parentheses, X. Stop saying that story. Okay, we got to cut that off. If you want a relationship with him, we got to stop affirming he's an X, right? There was no reason to throw that into the comment. You could have just said, no proof, but my SP. And you could say SP, my boyfriend, however you wanted to word it. You didn't have to throw in that little tidbit, that little jab at yourself to say, nope, he's still an X. You know, so we want to break that pattern. Stop calling them an X if you're manifesting them. Not to sit there and say you got to say that it's a boyfriend or a girlfriend, but that's why we use specific person, because it's general. It's not saying that they're an X, but it's not saying that it's a boyfriend or girlfriend. It's being general. That's why we use that language in this community. Let me go back. Let me try to find your comment. I just wanted to stop you there because we don't want that pattern to continuously play out. But you found out, you don't have proof, but you found out that your specific person pretty much may have cheated on you. If you don't have proof, why would you give that story power? Right? And even the proof that you saw, you could tell a different story. There's nothing factual in our 3D. If I can literally sit there and think about something and become this version of me, we'll say, I want to manifest a specific person. Okay, and I want this specific person to bring me flowers. I don't care what kind, I don't care when. I'm just going to imagine that I received a beautiful bouquet of flowers, okay? And I've identified as the version of me who received it. I'm really grateful. I'm really appreciative. That was such a sweet gift, cute gift. It made me feel loved, made me feel adored, and started to entertain that thought, right? The fact that I just had this thought about my reality means, wait, it wasn't happening at one moment, but I've decided internally, I'm in an alternate reality where it happened. I was able to imagine it. I had the desire for it. And then it happens in the 3D. You're telling me that this 3D is real, it's factual, based on the state that I was just in. I was able to, I don't want to say the word create, but able to experience something that wasn't happening, now all of a sudden it's happening, based on my mind, based on my consciousness. You're telling me that's factual? Not, it feels more like a hologram to me, feels more like the Matrix to me, feels like I'm playing a damn video game, right? So, stop giving so much of your power away to say, hey, I don't have proof of this, but I may have or may have not been cheated on. Well, tell the story. He would never cheat, completely loyal to you, and head over heels in love with you. You can decide that. And then decide to be the version of you that gets that treatment. I'm always chosen, I'm always loved, I'm always prioritized, I'm always put first. It's that simple. And then continue to return to that state regardless of what you see in your 3D. Stop looking for evidence in your 3D or entertaining evidence in your 3D. It's all bullshit. It's just a projection of your fears being played out. It's just a projection of your insecurities or your belief systems that no longer serve you being played out. And you can decide in this moment what your new beliefs are as this new version of you, what your new thoughts are, what your new experiences are. And it's that simple, and continue to tell that story. Continue to only entertain those thoughts and stop telling the story of the ex and the potential of cheating on. You can decide the way that this goes. Okay? But after that tangent, I'm going to hop off. Thank you guys for being here. I truly appreciate it. It has been a blast. If you do want any help with any one-on-one coaching services, check out the link in the bio. I also have the custom subliminals if you'd like to reprogram your mind as you sleep with no affirmations. It just sinks straight into your subconscious mind. You could do that as well. And custom affirmations if you would like a little bit more guidance on how we are able to reprogram the mind and really identifying this new version of us. So you can check all of that out on the website. This this live will be up on a video on YouTube. On Saturday, I do every Tuesday and Saturday, I'm reposting these live Q&As. That way nobody misses anything, and it's always got a lot of content in there and different questions. Who knows, maybe I answered your question and you weren't even there for the live. So go check all of that out on the YouTube. I also have Instagram, more personal stuff on there. So, if I'm out with my friends or doing something, I always post different stories and stuff. More of if you want to be nosy and see what Lane's life is like, that's usually stuff like that I'm posting, or stuff with my damn animals because they're just entertaining. But yeah, so that's it, guys. Thank you for being here. And as always, you got this.